Welcome to AJV's Originals Way again. I've been running some of Lori's cups. There's a bunch sitting over there, getting there. Step at a time. This is Purple Heart. I just ran it. It started rough out like this piece of oak. That's not as, excuse me, I just ran that one a little bit. This is the one I'm going to run here pretty quick. Show you how I set that up. Glue inside. Not a lot of glue outside, but I want to remove that glue so I can get a lot of oil on it and hopefully soften those grains up, the fibers up, to when I start taking this down to the final, I don't get a bunch of tear outs. There's a little bit of tear out right there, but I'm not really worried. I'm still a good 3/32 that I got to take off of this. This is how thick they are right now after I've run them. And I thin that to about half by the time I get done. So I can take out quite a bit of tear out, but I want to try to prevent that from happening by oiling them. But I've got a couple of things that I attempt to do. Check the view. Got to turn that light off because I can't see with the reflection of that light. Back a little bit. I think that'll work. All right. Light back on so I can see what I'm doing. So I just did this one, and I got set up on a regular chuck and my live center with the bearing on the inside. Take that off real quick with the other one, show you what I do real quick. Now I'm not really too interested in this. I want to get the glue off as much as possible. I'm really interested here to get that really round, because that's critical on the next step I do right after I do this, and I'm going to set that up and show you. Now what I'm taking off first is actually a coupler nut that's 3/8 by 1/4, and that allows me to use that 1/4-inch bearing in there. I've tried a couple different ways to do it, but that seems to work the best. I even milled out a 1/4-inch shaft on one of these, a little short for some of the cups. So I had to go to this one. And this is a 3/8-inch shaft. I welded a washer on it for that stop. Of course, nice and square. And this has a little bit of a difference in the diameter on this edge. It'll help me line this up, and I got the wrong cup. I just did that cup. I want to do this cup. No. Yeah, we'll do this cup. I haven't finished the cup. Apparently I did the last oak that I had, but show you what happens here. I thought I had 2 of them left. I only had 1 left. That's fine. You get the idea. So I try to line this up again, just like when I'm gluing. Put this back on. Get it ready. I got a bearing going bad in this. It's a little bit loose. I'm going to have to change that out. But good enough for right now. I'm going to have to change it before I finalize it, because it's really, really, really critical that I get that done 100% when I get closer and closer. Lining that back up there. There we go. Point, like I said, I'm trying to get the glue off or down. And I'm not looking at this edge right now. I'm not really concerned how even this is. What I'm concerned right now is trying to get any space between my cutter and the wood that I got. That let me know that I've got the glue off. And I'm just doing this one quick because I've already done it. And then I round this off. So when I put the bottom on, that just helps me with that bottom. That's basically it for that. Get all the glue off. This is critical to be round. This not so much. It helps, but I have a different device I use to get that perfectly round. Different setup. We got to swap some stuff out real quick. Won't take long. Bear with me, but you get to see what happens now. So I'm going to swap to the Nova chuck. And I got that over here on the table saw. I got to swap off that live center for the tail, because I have another one that has a Forstner bit in it. Oop, have to take it partially apart. And I talked about this, why I do it this way. It has a set screw that shopsmiths put on there, but that's kind of a phony way to do this. So I went with a secured nut and washer and all that to hold that, especially with this heavy Forstner bit and chuck that's on here. That little set screw, this whole thing wants to tip, and I can't have that. This is getting critical now. Wrong one. So I really need this nice and firm. And that's a tapered fitting in there that actually fits in there. And that works all good once you get it nice and firm. Okay. So again, one of the interesting things about this particular chuck Nova setup is the next jaws, this cup is too big. And this set of jaws, I think, will pinch this one. It's just right at it. I'm just about gone here. A little bit thinner on some of those. I turned them before and they're a little bit too thin. But what I can do is I have a rubber ring from what's called a ferncoal that I cut off. And I can slip that over that. And I'm just showing you, I don't need it on this one because this one does set in that chuck. But when it comes to finishing these, I do put this on if I'm putting it in this chuck, because that way I get no jaw marks. So this is also a good thing to keep jaw marks from happening. And it's kind of critical that you get the same grip on this. If you're in real tight here and you're real back loose, it's not going to center, because you have different thicknesses. You have different thicknesses of the rubber, and this looks a little off because, again, I wasn't really worried about the center on that. It's a little bit wilder than what I want, so I'm going to try to adjust it real quick. What's critical is when that drills a hole inside, finishes it off, because again, that's just I'm just trying to clean that out. It's a little bit smaller than the 2 9/16 bit, so I'll ream that out as I go. But that gives me my centering for that outside face there. And I've got a system that I got set up that goes inside that, and then I center everything off of that. Where the end of that bit is. What happened there? It doesn't go all the way through, so I have to push the head a little bit forward. I can also hear this when it hits that end of that. All right. So that cleaned that up inside really nice. Hopefully you can see that pretty good. Now that's not finished, but now that I've got all of the glue marks on it, high and low spots, and then what I do is I have a jig that goes inside that actually attaches I think you can see that. Put my hand down there. Yep. So then later on, again, this hole will coincide with that, and that'll stabilize that. And then I actually, because of this coupler, I can get this closer and get this nice and stable. There's a little movement. That'll take care of the fold round on this, and this goes into the Novichok on the other side, and I can do my finishing. But first I also have to set the upper lip and the bottom pieces of copper, because that's what I turn everything to, is the diameter of that copper. Okay, so next one, I'll be showing you how I set the copper on those using the router.